it is the case that Christians are persecuted in the United States, have been for a long time, and they're going to continue to be. That's kind of our cross to bear. We were told that was going to be the case. In fact, that's part of what being a Christian is. As to Trump following the trends and making the assumption, do I kind of agree that you should have caution on these things? I do, but I can completely understand why it would be that he would have that reaction.
John Fugelsang, okay. Benny Johnson posted about this attack on the church in Michigan. If a mosque was shut up every month, it would be a crisis for Muslims. If a synagogue was shut up every month, it would be a crisis for Jews. If a temple was shut up every month, it would be a crisis for Hindus. Christians, this is happening to us. Christianity is under attack. It's time to get serious about it. What's your response to that?
I keep hoping that one of these preventable attacks will inspire our Christian friends on the right to want to make it a little bit harder for unstable white men to easily get weapons that are designed to kill lots of people really fast. I really hoped after the awful murder of Mr. Kirk that some of our friends on the right would agree that maybe it's far too easy for unstable 20-something males to get their hands on hardware and pop off and murder people at a political rally.
He was using an antique rifle, dude. He was using, he was using an antique rifle.
I know.
An antique bolt.
It was unsecured.
Legislation?
I didn't interrupt you once, my friend. I didn't interrupt you one time.
What legislation do you think would have even been passed?
If his grandfather had been obliged to, if his grandfather had been legally obliged to keep his gun secured at home, that shooting wouldn't have happened, and the Sandy Hook shooting would not have happened.
You can't even. Hey, some of you guys were asking, what is the Connecticut conspiracy theory? This guy mentioned it. Like, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there. If you want to know more about that, just go to Rumble.
Straight, that's true. For all you know, the kid has the safe code.
You're not letting me finish, and you've interrupted me twice now. Piers, the deal is right-wing Christianity in America has been suckered, and you're really going to... I'm going to answer Piers's question, my friend. I didn't interrupt you. Right-wing Christianity in America has been suckered for a very long time into aligning with power and authority instead of challenging it as Christ did. Donald Trump didn't get the love of evangelicals by promising to do a damn thing Jesus commanded of us. Right-wing Christianity does not fight for the things Jesus commanded and taught us to do. Right-wing Christianity fights for conservative Christian power over every level of society. They do not fight to welcome the stranger, as Christ commands in Matthew 25 and as God commands throughout the Old Testament. They do not fight for individuals and nations to care for the sick and the poor, as commanded by Christ in the judgment of nations. They fight for right-wing conservative Christian power, and America is suffering from a gun plague where children are now killed by guns more than disease, more than they are killed by car accidents. And I keep praying this is exactly the sort of situation where a religion based on love and empathy will come to our rescue. And yet, our conservative Christian friends are locked in this mindset that somehow personal freedoms matter more than the lives of Americans.
Isabel, you've been pulling... hang on, let Andrew, I'll come back to you, but let Isabel react, because you've been pulling a lot of faces as you were listening to that.
Yeah, you know, Piers...
Here's the problem with Piers. When he knows that Andrew can go there to destroy them, he does this.
I was on with you the day that Charlie was shot, actually. We were talking about the murder of Irina Zarutska on the train in Charlotte, and I was very baffled by what I was hearing then. Nothing could have prepared me for the slew of attack against anyone who is a conservative Christian in America the last 30 seconds. There is not a single gun law on the books that would have prevented Charlie Kirk from being assassinated at a gun-free zone on the campus of Utah Valley University. When we saw the manifesto published to YouTube about the shooter at the Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis, you saw a very specific, detailed attack that was specifically against Christian children and their families, really warping in a very twisted demonic sense the mass with engravings and diary entries saying, "This is my body." I mean, we were watching a very coordinated attack going back to the Nashville shooting and to many other attacks on churches across the country over the past few years, of which there have been more than 500 attacks on Catholic churches in the United States in the last 5 years or so. This is clearly a specific attack against Christianity in America, but let's pretend that it's not just about America for a second, because the truth is it's not. Christianity, by the numbers, is by far and large the most persecuted religion on the face of the planet today. In Nigeria, just a few days ago, more than 60 people were killed using hammers and machines.
Look at this, dude. This is Satan as a despising himself as a Christian. Look at that. This dude has been around for for quite a while. He's been with Jesse Lee Peterson. This dude is just a fake Christian. He's just a woke Christian.
Machetes after attending mass at a Catholic church there in Nigeria. And I read a study the other day, feel free to fact check me on this, to any of the other panelists, that more Christians have been slaughtered in Nigeria for
gun laws would not. Hey, how you doing, Matt? Gun laws would not address a hunting rifle. It wouldn't. This guy is a cafeteria Christian. Yo, cafeteria Christian, at least they make good coffee. This guy's not even cafeteria coffee. This guy is just an atheist trying to play. He wants to just basically just talk from both sides of his mouth, kind of a thing. Hey, I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian. Therefore, atheism is good. This is what this dude is.
Being Christian in the last few years than Palestinians have been killed in Gaza during the midst of the Israeli-Gaza war. But you don't see any protests happening in the United States about that today. So it's ridiculous to try to create a left versus right paradigm here or some sort of attack against the Republican Party when there very clearly is a manifestation of spiritual warfare and demonic satanic influence in our society trying to attack Jesus Christ in America today.
Andrew, I want to play a clip.
I'm not a Democrat.
I'm going to
what you? Oh no. The new gaslighting is I'm independent. I'm an independent. I'm independent. Man, come on, bro.
Chris Hedge, a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist, said on the Secular Talk podcast that Charlie Kirk's assassination was being used to create a new martyr for the movement of Christian nationalism, which he said is a backdoor to American fascism. Let's take a look.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they do. I mean, what you said, Matt, is correct. I mean, he picks and chooses part of the Bible to follow what that he likes and ignores the rest, right? Believe me, these are the people that don't even believe in Corinthian and Roman. You know, those are very, very hard chapters of the Bible. They're very, 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 very powerful. He's one of these dudes that want to basically just eliminate those very, difficult areas of the Bible and just make this kind of kumbaya Christianity.
When fascism comes to America, it won't be with swastikas and jackboots, and it will be with the Christian cross and mass recitations of the Pledge of Allegiance. You really got a glimpse of that in the rally in Arizona whatever you want to call it, the memorial service for Kirk.
Now, Andrew, two questions for you. One is, what is your understanding of what Christian nationalism is? And as a Christian nationalist, are you concerned that it gets hijacked by people who may genuinely be white supremacists, fascists, and so on?
Well, not really. So the idea of Christian nationalism is just that Christians remain the culturally dominant force in the United States. That's it. That's the entire proposition. Everything else is an addition. So the gentleman over here, for instance, a quick question for you. Is Jesus Christ God?
I believe so, but I don't believe in imposing my opinions on others.
Okay, God. So Jesus Christ is God. So all the religions are false?
No, I don't believe that at all. I believe in my house there are many mansions. So God has many ways of the truth. Yeah, I don't think I'm better than anyone because Christ's movement is about humility. Christ's movement is...
We get it. Let it come by. Yeah, this is the problem, right? And this is a slippery slope. This is basically weak men trying to lead by compassion and empathy. Right, in a world that is too dangerous for that. It's like this 1975 movement of Christianity. Kumbaya, let's just go hippie about it, and let's just make sure that everybody love each other. When we have to understand the evil is out there, evil is real, and it's not going to be compatible with Christianity.
Not about public domination and power.
I just want to make sure I got this right. Are all other religions false?
I don't believe that at all, no. And I don't believe right-wing Christianity is true either.
Is Islam
right-wing Christianity does not...
Answer my question, dude.
MAGA
is Islam
does not fight for the teachings of Christ.
Is Islam true? Is Islam true?
Islam believes in the same God as Christians. Do you believe
it's true?
Yo, this dude is crazy. Islam believes in the same God of Christians.
The stranger is God and Christ commander. Do you believe in Donald Trump?
Wait, they believe Jesus Christ is God?
It's not my religion. They believe Christ is a prophet.
So then it's
the Virgin
false.
Mary is mentioned more in the Holy Quran than she's mentioned in the Bible.
I'm going to walk you through the logic here. If Jesus Christ is God,
what are the Christ teachings that Trump fights for, my friend?
Then it is the case.
What are the gospel teachings your movement fights for? Your movement uses Christ as a prop, and you legislate against his commands.
Stop filibustering.
Dude, you interrupted
me. Your question. So I was in the middle of it. I asked you a single question.
So look at that face, bro. Look at that demonic face, man. Yo, that's a demonic face right there. That's a face of you having an agenda coming to this show. That's what it is. He knows who Andrew Wilson is. He knows this is destiny when he get older.
Follow up, and you go on these long diatribes.
You asked 2 questions.
Listen to what I'm saying.
You asked 2 questions, my friend.
Logically, if it's the case that Jesus Christ is God, and that is true, then Islam has to be false, and you have to proclaim that that is the case as a follower of Christ.
Too bad the founding fathers didn't have that system in our country.
Well, the thing that's so funny is that you say that you're a progressive Catholic. You're worried about Christians in power. You say that Christians are out here. Oh, Andrew, Christians are out here. They should be looking at these other immigrants as religious refugees. That's what you said, your own words.
They're actually Christian refugees. At our border, they are Christian refugees that y'all have been socialized to call illegals.
Then how come you lobbied for Kamala Harris, raised money for the Harris campaigns, a Democrat operative, when she said that she wanted staunch border policies? She literally went to Guatemala and said, "You're not allowed to come. Do not come."
I know she did. I'm not a Democrat, my friend. I'm not a Democrat.
Yo, it's crazy. I'm not a Democrat, but he didn't deny donating for the Democratic Party.
Then her policies cause less harm than Trump's.
You happen to be a Democrat operative.
Her policies cause less harm than Trump's, my friend. And her policies were closer to the actual teachings of Christ than Trump. Let me ask you.
Then that would be the exact same logic that we would have.
May I respectfully ask you?
So you said this guy Satan. Islam is not the same as Christian. God, anyone who has real both holy books will never say that. This man is a liar. Yeah, not only he's a liar. I think he's one of these. When people really want to describe Satan, right? Satan is basically somebody that's just despised, looking like somebody that's weak. In reality, it's the person that always wants to stir the water of the truth. That's Satan for me. If you get Lucifer, his job is to infiltrate the church and turn everybody away from God. This is literally Lucifer right here. I mean, we have to call the devil by his name. This dude is saying that Islam is the same as Christianity, that we just praise the same God, which is not the truth. It's not the truth at all. And this right here is the problem with Christianity. Because if you have very weak Christians like him, you still have to move to the moderate side of it. But the problem is when you move to the moderate side of it, you still have a side of yourself that is still weak. And you might be okay with this stance. It cannot be that. It cannot be that. Yeah, Satan literally means the adversary. See, I didn't know that.
One question.
Really? Wow.
You're such a hypocrite, by the way.
Will you please? May I please ask you one question now that you've asked me so many, and now that you've called me names? Dude, hit the other cheek. I can take it. Call me more names. I want to ask you something. Please tell me one actual gospel commandment or teaching of Christ.
Complete fraud.
Please tell me one actual gospel. Please tell us all and the viewers watching one actual gospel commandment or teaching of Christ that the MAGA movement fights for. Not what conservative Christians like. Something Christ, who is a mascot to this movement, actually commanded of us. Chapter and verse, if you can.
Sure.
Welcome the stranger. Individuals and nations take care of the poor. Stop executing people. Your movement.
Do you want me to answer,
or you can answer the question then?
Please do.
Do you want me to answer, or are you going to answer? So the truth of the matter is that if you're really as concerned with the poor as you claim, you would be all about the MAGA movement, who's trying to stop job-crushing immigration
of the poor
to the United States. I'm giving it to you. Calm down.
Christ commands us to welcome.
Calm down.
Yo, this dude, bro, this dude is afraid to have a debate. I think it's a Chaitan or something like this in the Hebrew. It means the adversary. Well, if it is not good, it's not as good as evil. So I think you're right. If it is not good as evil, I think you have a point.
Lunatic. I'm going to answer it precisely.
Love that.
Your question. Calm down so I can answer your question, lunatic. I'm going to answer it precisely. Here's how it works. If it is the case that you make these bold claims like you do in your book, that Christians ought to be paying taxes for the poor so that we could, for the poor, we got to give it all to the poor. That's what your view is.
That's not my suggestion, bro. That's Jesus' suggestion.
Then it would be the case. Then it would be the case that you would not want these job-crushing waves of mass migration coming to the United States, which displace
one teaching of Jesus,
the poor.
Andrew. Just one.
There we go. There we go. There we go with this week. The argument of just sympathy, man. This is a problem. We have to just have the real conversation regarding this. We can help these people, but they don't have to come to the West. We can help them where they are. We don't have to bring it to the West. Somehow, and these fake Christians bringing these people to the West, somehow it's going to help the West. Look at how they're living. They're not living in very high standards. Their mentality or the philosophy doesn't even understand how the West work. But we kind of put them here. Somehow they're going to make the West better. It doesn't work like that.
I just explained to you that if
one
it's the
teaching
case,
of Christ you fight for.
I just did. I just explained to you if you really want to.
It's what Jesus thought. Jesus said you have to welcome them. So you can just go bring a lot of these third worlds to your neighborhood and just welcome them. See, also, if I'm not mistaken, we should not be lying either. By saying, even though you say welcome them, we should not be lying to ourselves that these cultures are very dangerous to our own societies. We should not be lying either. Don't lie, right? One of the commandments. So you have to decide. Yes, anti YouTube threat. That's a very yes, but the comment. Okay. Okay. We have a very good. Let me just walk it through you. If one of the commandments, right? Are we allowed to lie to ourselves as Christians? That's the first question. Are we allowed to lie to ourselves as Christians? Answer that question, anti-YouTube threat. That's the question.
Uplift the poor. You don't do it with crushing mass migration.
What Jesus teaching did you explain?
I just explained to you that by your view of what Christians ought to be doing, we are doing it. Do you not understand this?
Christ says that individuals and nations will be judged. Christ says in Matthew 25 that individuals and nations will be judged, heaven or hell.
And tell me
exactly. Lying is a sin. Therefore, we should not be lying, right? We should not be lying, admitting the fact that these, sadly, these societies are not compatible with the West. Okay? These societies are not part of the West. And by us lying as society, we're committing a huge sin. We are committing a huge sin. Why? Because we are not being honest. And dishonesty is not a Christian way of life. That's the problem. We can welcome them. But they have to stay in their own country. They have to stay in their own neighborhoods. They have to stay in their own tribes. But by us lying and saying that everybody's the same, everybody's equal, every culture's equal, we're lying to ourselves. And that's a bigger sin.
Care for the sick, care for the poor, welcome the stranger, and care for those in prison. MAGA legislates and votes against these commandments of Jesus.
And what was the Kamala Harris? What was the Kamala Harris Christian doctrine that you were for?
Kamala Harris is closer by light years to the teachings of Christ than the Republican Party, but I don't consider Democrats to be. I'm not a Democrat. What are you on the treatment of immigrants, on anti-racism, on women's equality, on helping the poor, on making health care more accessible, on having less gun violence? I could do it all day, my friend.
All right, Isabel.
So, was that the epistle made it up? Jesus said, "Thou shalt not have guns."
Gentlemen, let the lady on the panel talk, please. Isabel.
Piers, I think this is precisely the problem because it just.
So you're saying that third world migrants are a blessing of the West? No. See, now you gaslighting me right now. No. Third worlds are third world for a reason because they cannot keep the same standards as their first world, right? Mass is saying you can welcome people into the faith, but not be able to afford them coming to your country, financially speaking. Yeah, and that's, you know what? That's what it is. You have to. It's like the saying that goes that if you give fish to a person, you have to always give them fish. But if you teach them how to fish, you don't have to just give them more fish.